Hey everyone, my name's Rewt and we're here. This is going to be our team introductions and week 1 for the Pokemon Grand Prix. And basically what this means is that the PGBL is going to be one of 8 leagues that's going to be participating in a league war. And so every week for 7 rounds, we will be facing off against another league, and we each have our team of 9. We're gonna pick out 7, so in case some people can't make it, we're gonna have a team of 7 that are gonna play off against each other, and a winner for each round will emerge. I'm gonna be going over all the teams that are gonna be taking part on the PGBL team and quickly go through a couple of our matchups, but I just want to get into a few teams. So I'm going to be the team captain, and every week there's going to be a captain's recap, and that is going to be the only upload that's required. Everybody else is aggressively upload optional, so they can do whatever the heck they want. However, I'm going to be here recapping each week as they go by. So I'm the captain. You can see my team is actually right there in the first slot. Also participating is going to be In Vivid Color of the South Texas Sableyes and RandyHLD of the Houston Team Rockets. The 3 of us right off the bat, that's going to be the admin team, and we're going to be the first 3 that's going to be figuring out how to position everybody from week to week. Other than that, we have Vizualy, the past 2-time champion, as well as ThekillerNacho, somebody who came on last season and was pretty fantastic for us. We have Frosted as well, taking on another team. Frosted also came on last season and was absolutely wonderful for us. But the last 3 are going to be 3 that are going to be new for a potential upcoming season in the coming weeks. I'm going to scroll down to show off all of our teams, and we will have Stoutlands 93 on our team, Skyrander, and Martolt. Now, these are 3 people that might be very new to the PGBL, but they are people that I've liked watching for a while now, and they're just really great content creators and really great people in general. So right off the bat, you can see all of our teams. Basically, there was no real drafting system. We all just got a chance to pick out whatever team we wanted, as long as they didn't conflict. Each league had its own full pool of mons to draft from. As long as there were no duplicates, everyone was free to just kind of pick their own team. I was the captain. I was dead set on picking my team completely last. I did not want to impede on anybody, so I was going to take everything that was left over and try to build a team out of that. So actually the first person to build a full team was ThekillerNacho. He just asked me straight up, hey, can I just have the team from my last season of the PGBL? And he was pretty comfortable with that. We had to make a few changes to make the points work and that type of thing. But we talked about it in DMs for a while, and we were able to figure out something that that he was comfortable with and really felt like worked for him. So he's basically going to have a modified version of his last season of the PGBL team. So Mega Blastoise, Bulu, Xurkitree, Haxorus, Nihilego, Darmanitan, Hawlucha, Ditto, and Steelix. Pokemon that he's very comfortable with, and he's proven that he can do a lot of damage with. That was the first team that kind of just built a full-fledged team, and my suggestion to everybody was that I felt like the best way to do it was, hey, everybody just pick out a Mega, pick out a 15-plus point Pokemon that you would want to build a team around, basically call dibs on it, reserve that, and then once everybody has that and everybody gets a chance to get a top-tier Pokemon kind of reserved, so to speak, then go ham and try to build full teams, and if there's any duplicates, then I'm going to try to deal with it. We're going to try to get these things resolved. So I kind of went on like that for a little bit. You guys can kind of make out the cores that people really wanted to build around. Super Salamence, he immediately wanted a Mega Lopunny Hydreigon core, if I remember correctly. In Vivid Color asked for the Landorus Tornadus core, and that's kind of what he built around. RandyHLD really wanted to try to build around Gallade and Kyurem Black, which is a really scary team overall. Frosted really wanted Mega Diancie and Victini, which are really scary together, and she did get one of my personal favorites in Greninja as well to kind of complement them, which is fantastic in my mind. Vizualy wanted the Celesteela Mega Medicham kind of core to build around. Martolt did a similar thing and kind of just like took a few scraps towards the end, but he was one of the last people to kind of just build a team, and he built from a lot that was left over, but he built a really strong team around Mega Gyarados, and I know he's been having a lot of fun using it so far. And Skyrander just kind of went all in on a rain team. He really wanted Coco Swampert to try to build out a full-on rain team, and he did get the Pelipper. We had to adjust his team a little bit because he did kind of want Hawlucha, but Hawlucha was claimed pretty early by Nacho. But regardless, these are really scary teams, no matter what happens, and you guys can kind of just see how powerful these teams are, and everybody kind of built to their strengths. Everybody really brought mons that they know that they can run well and they feel really comfortable with. So we are going to definitely make some waves in the coming weeks. So at this point, I'm just going to recap how week 1 went. So this is going to be a weekly thing where we kind of go over what happened in our matchups each week against each league. And for round 1, we came up against the BBL. They have a very, very scary roster, and the only 2 people that stayed on the bench were RandyHLD and Frosted. They had kind of personal things going on, and they asked if they could sit on the bench. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to come off of the bench as the captain playing. But overall, we have a really, really strong team, and I believe the first person to get their matches in was Super Salmons 93, and he was telling me that he won a pretty narrow 1-0, but that was a really great way to kind of get our matches started and really give everyone a little bit of confidence. The next person to come in and tell us a result was, I believe, Vizualy, who won 3-0. So now we started to get some momentum going. I believe next after that, I received a DM from Skyrander. He said that he very narrowly lost, apparently because he had a non-drizzle Pelipper. He just completely misgened a Pelipper, and it really ended up hurting him in the end. And then right after that, pretty close back-to-back, it came in a Martolt result. He was telling me that Mega Gyarados ended up picking up 4 KOs and was just an absolute monster in his own matchup. It just kind of did everything that it needed to do, and he was able to pivot around all of the other mons particularly well and set up a Mega Gyarados sweep in the very end. So we're in a very precarious situation where we're now 3-1. My match was going to be one of the matches played a lot later on, and I believe Nacho as well. But the next match that had to be played, we were at 3-1. The next match that had to be played was Josh against D-Willy, and this was one where he asked for a lot of help from Randy and I to kind of build out a team. So we worked a lot together to build out a team, and he had a really bad matchup. He got really, I mean, you can see on the screen, his team gets really badly dealt with by a Mamoswine, and he did a lot to play really carefully around. He had a Scarf Decidueye, which was fantastic because it caught the Medicham off guard, and he was able to Spear Shackle it for, I believe, an Oko, if I remember correctly. But overall, he made the best out of a really, really bad matchup, and I believe he won a really narrow 1-0 or 2-0. So now we are clinched. We are 4-1, and we are kind of on top of the world right now. And I had to play, I believe, the next day, and my admin team, in Vivid Color and RandyHLD, kind of encouraged me that, like, hey, your matchup is really aggressively bad no matter what happens, and we've clinched anyway, so why not just, like, bring a meme team that kind of has a chance to kind of, like, catch them off guard and, like, really do some things, maybe get a win, but regardless, we clinch anyway. I kind of rebuilt a team that was a pretty aggressive meme team, but it kind of felt like it would work. I didn't end up winning, but I will have a replay for right after this recap. And then ThekillerNacho played. He just didn't have a great matchup, and he ended up losing to his opponent. I believe he played against Clutch sometimes, and that was going to be our first week. We ended up 4-3. A really fun way to start off the League War. We did end up 4-3, but just starting off 4-1 really just, like, got a lot of confidence going. It got a lot of people talking to each other, and I really felt like we kind of came together as a team, and we had a lot of fun doing it. So a fantastic way to kind of start off this particular League War, and moving forward, we're going to definitely be a team to watch. So from here on out, I think the only thing that's left to do is let's watch a replay of my match. So here we are. This is going to be my week 1 matchup in the League War, and you can kind of start to get a feel for how not great my matchup is. So my real main offense is going to be my Kartana and my Infernape, and it's against a team with an Arcanine, a Garchomp, a Mega Venusaur, and a Celesteela, and he can pretty aggressively play around anything that I really want to do in this matchup. And also, he didn't bring a Seismitoad, which just remembering that is kind of nuts, but I had so much counter team to the Seismitoad, right? So my Arachnid was a special Arachnid with Giga Drain, and I believe Soak, just to be able to potentially handle the Mega Venusaur. I had Soak Toxic, but it's gonna be a 2-turn combo, so it's gonna be pretty easy for him to kind of play around. Although I just kind of want to try to get some things done in this matchup. My Grand Bowl is actually Power Herb Solar Beam, because I thought Seismitoad would be one of his best kind of catch-all switch-ins to things, and I can ideally catch that off guard, and it does a huge chunk of damage. Even if I do give up a Toxic on my Grand Bowl, to get that much damage onto a Seismitoad would have been huge. Everything else is reasonably standard. I think I might have been an Autotomized Necrozma, but either way, again, my matchup isn't great. My matchup is just going to be kind of managing some threats and trying to catch a Seismitoad off guard. That was a huge part of my game plan. But the Kartana has an okay time. It's a Fightinium Z Kartana, which is pretty necessary against the Celesteela, but even then I have to get to +3 for it to really matter in this matchup. Regardless, I'm just going to get into this matchup, and as you can see from the team preview, I'm going to lead off with the Jolteon. He's going to lead off with the Garchomp. Not an ideal lead. Honestly, it's a lead that I wish I could have gone back, because the Garchomp was always going to make a Jolteon lead pretty awkward, but regardless, I felt kind of okay with it. I really kind of hard read a lead Rocks play, so I kind of just risked it all, because again, I know my matchup is pretty terrible here, so I just kind of risked it all. It is in fact a Yachi Berry Garchomp, and he does go for Rocks, and I'm going to keep my Jolteon for later and be able to chunk this thing and take away its berry now. He is going to switch out, and it's a totally reasonable play. I really wish that I knew he was going to switch out, and I just went all in on a Volt Switch, but that is a bananas play to make in this early game position. So regardless, he's going to be able to switch out, go into his Venusaur, which I never have a great time against, but it's going to let me Volt Switch into some kind of a favorable matchup, even though regardless, I really don't have favorable matchups against this thing. But the best thing I have for this thing is probably my Necrozma, so my Necrozma can potentially scare things out, but it's never going to be a fantastic matchup for me, especially with the Celesteela looming, and my only way to hit it is Heat Wave. Actually, no, I think this is a setup Necrozma, like a Calm Mind, like a more of a Calm Mind Photon Geyser Heat Wave Necrozma, probably with either Sub or Moonlight. I probably needed Sub just to dodge a few Toxics that can go my way, in particular from something like a Seismitoad, because that would be pretty scary, although my last move could have been Moonlight. I don't honestly remember, but from here, I'm going to dodge a Toxic, which is actually kind of huge, and I'm able to get off a Photon Geyser, which is potentially going to KO. It does KO. So at +1, this Necrozma is ready to do a whole heck of a lot of damage. It goes into the Tauros, which is pretty wild. I know he's going to get a lot of damage off. We don't see the Intimidate, so we know that it's Life Orb, Sheer Force, and it's going to get a lot of damage off. This is a near max defense Necrozma, and it's still doing a really respectable damage from a Tauros, but we're going to be able to straight up Oko with a Photon Geyser. So already Necrozma is picking up a couple KOs, but I need to keep it really healthy in order to be able to really do what I need to do against this team, and we did kind of get bailed out a little bit by a Miss Toxic, but regardless, the Arcanine is going to come in. It's going to get a useless Intimidate off, and which would have only, I guess, mattered if I was stored power, but I'm going to try to keep this thing a little bit healthy, maybe Moonlight up on something else later on in the match, especially when he can Toxic me pretty darn easily. I go into my Grand Bowl to try to eat up a hit, and I could also just like get off a Super Fang or something to that effect, but he just goes for the Flare Blitz, and I'm pretty positive this thing is just like straight up Bandit or something to that effect, because even after an Intimidate, that just does so much damage, and I really don't know what kind of outs I have to this thing, especially when my best quote-unquote answer would be a potential Arachnid, but I do double out into the Arachnid. I guess I just hard expected it, and he probably honestly was in a position where he could have just hard expect me to want to go into Arachnid, but at this point I really had to reveal the tech. I had to go for something here, and I go for the Soak on this turn. And this was a moment where I kind of really struggled for what I should do after I go for the Soak, because he had some very obvious switches into a Toxic, obviously the Celesteela, so I came remarkably close to you know, just mustering up the courage to click liquidation on that turn, and I didn't. I clicked toxic, but I would have gotten off a lot of damage with a liquidate. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm special. I would have gotten off a scald, which if I'd gotten off a scald burn, then that would have been huge. But that's never going to be a thing that happens. Although this is, I imagine he's going to go for a leech seed, and this is going to allow me to go into Jolteon, but he gets off an Autotomize. And from here, I really don't have any counterplay. I don't have any like really strong Scarfers that can really take any hits. So I can be with the Grand Bull. This is more so just to kind of deny him a Beast Boost, because something is potentially going to go down here regardless of what I do. And I can go into Grand Bull. I don't even have to really worry about Intimidate, but I could give this thing up just to deny him a Beast Boost. And ideally, my Necrozma can come in and start to deal a little bit of damage, but I actually dodged another Toxic here, and I do almost exactly half with a Heat Wave, which is a pretty decent position for me to be in. And he's gonna go for a Z move, right? And I have to just kind of assume this is gonna be like Z Air Slash or something to that effect, and just kind of have to hope that I can take one, right? Because I really don't have many other counterplays to a good Celesteela here, right? So Celesteela is gonna try to hit me as hard as possible, and I'm gonna end up taking it on 1 HP, but I missed a Heat Wave. So honestly, I totally get it, because I probably would have never been able to take that even a little bit if either of the Toxics hit from earlier, and just a lot was going on in this particular situation. But I get it. Like I definitely did not deserve to land a Heat Wave, but as soon as I missed the Heat Wave, any chance that I had left of potentially winning kind of went out the window, because now Araquanid is well in range of being Air Slashed. And my entire team is in range of being Okon in some way. I believe he can just flamethrower my Kartana. He can Earthquake my Jolteon. You guys get the idea. And he's getting special attack raises. So I'm not a Scarfed Infernape. Maybe a Scarfed Infernape would have been able to really break through here, but he's gonna just be able to Air Slash me and pick up another KO, and he's gonna be another few KOs. You guys are gonna get the idea, but regardless, that's gonna be our week one. Like I said, my matchup was never great, and my team kind of encouraged me to bring out a much more Mimi set that had a chance to catch him off guard, if nothing else, and then I could potentially open the door a little bit for my Kartana in the later game. And that was really my only chance of winning, but a lot of crazy things happened in this matchup. I wish I had played my Necrozma better. Necrozma was really my best win, kind of my best out to the Celesteela, especially after an Autotomize. But with that, that's going to be it for the Pokemon Grand Prix Week 1. We do pick up a win, like I said, once again, and it's going to be really, really fun moving forward. This is a really interesting format. It's a format that a lot of us were confused by, a lot of us were skeptical about, but I think a lot of us are having fun. We're coming together as a team, and I just want to kind of put us out there and like have us in the community and battling, and that's really what it's going to be all about. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back really, really soon with more weeks of the ICBA, more captain recaps for the Pokemon Grand Prix, more weeks of the UBL, and a few other projects in the future coming really, really soon. But once again, with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Anyway, once again,